Alright, let's start to play part 2 of this, because I was looking forward to this. And yesterday I played this game until 2 AM, even though I only played for 2 hours, and I'm very tired, so my goal is to finish this game today and have a good rest. So let's continue. What was it before? Jiren, if you don't come to me like you truly mean to stab me, you'll never land a hit. Yes, ma'am. Sir? It's been 2 weeks since I saw Karma in the forest practicing Garland. I've come here every night since then, though I never stay as long as Karma since I've actually work to do in the mornings. Alright, here I come. The two swords clash and Karma laughs as he throws Jiren back and taps her lightly on the shoulder with his sword. That makes 4 hits, and that one was easy. Is that the best you can do, Jiren? I noticed that every time Karma practices Jiren, he's in his Miss Karma disguise. He says it's because of the curse, and he does not want Jiren to fall in love with him. Isn't he being overdramatic? I doubt someone like Jiren could fall in love with Karma. Be subtle and quiet. Garland tells me you're usually good at that. I am, sir. Then, why the exception today? Ah, sir. Darling, it wouldn't happen to me because of the way I'm dressed, would it? Are you still not used to it? Hit the nail on the head, have I? It's not very chivalrous to hurt a lady, of course, but that logic applies to men as well. An enemy is an enemy, Jiren, even if your enemy is a delicate flower like myself. Delicate flower. Jiren, you should hit him on the head for that. But princess, he's not delicate at all. Jiren laughs and I scowl at her. Is she laughing at me? You and Karma seem to get along. I doubt it. Oh, princess, you wound me. You always say that. You wound me where Jiren Blade cannot. Something flashes in Jiren's eyes as she readies her sword again. Karma stands as ready as Jiren rushes him with her sword. Their swords clash again. I wonder. Karma, your back is open. Karma jumps. Jiren taps him on the shoulder and laughs loud. He did it, a single hit. It looks like you have a weakness too, Karma. No, it wasn't a weakness. It was a lack of sleep catching up to me. Why did he listen to me? I told Garland the other day that it was crucial to only listen and watch the most important things. Alright, practice is over. I can see Garland coming from his practice. Karma walks to the corner to have a drink. I should probably head back to the tavern soon, but there is something I want to see first. On the way out, Jiren gives a solemn nod to the Garland. She pauses to say something to him and then looks at me, noticing my vague curiosity. I was just mentioning what a good swordsman Karma is. I've seen it in a fight, and Karma is a good swordsman. There's no doubt about it, yet is practicing with him really so special? He is fast on his feet and quick with his reactions. He's an excellent person to train under, even better than most of the commanders in the place. I can second that. Even better than Ross, remember him? The first commander we trained under. The one that punished slow learning with extra exercises. You always had to do more exercises than I did. Something about you always distracted. I was watching the way you swung your sword to make sure you didn't hurt yourself. You've always been so overprotective. I feel like a third wheel by now. Can I leave? They both suddenly stop to look at Karma, who's smiling shyly on the side. Why does he have that look on his face? Oh, that's a sign. We can't keep the commander waiting. Garland shakes his head, his expression snapping back into something more serious. Right. The two exchange quick farewells before Jiren waves and steps out of the clearing, Garland with Karma. You're in a dress today. Are you two really opposed to hurting me when I'm in a dress, or are you worried about ruining it? No. It's just so strange. You move so well, even in a long dress. But yes, Jiren did mention almost stepping on it once. Impossible. I'm the picture of elegance. Of course, sir. Karma shrugs Garland's off comment. The two ready their swords and get into practice. Jurian has taken over Garland's patrol now, so that Garland can get in some practice time. So Garland, have you told Jurian yet? No. The conversations that Karma always has with Garland is the real reason I stay behind to watch them practice. She's so nosy. I relate with that. I don't understand why Garland answers Karma's question if doing so makes her so depressed. Will you ever say anything to her, Garland? Why don't you just confess to her already? If Roxanne, who doesn't know people at all, or emotions, know that he likes her, then he's being really obvious about it. Karma lands an easy hit on Garland, who sighs in response. Whenever Garland thinks about Jurian, he gets distracted, but do not understand his feelings at all, but seeing him remain quiet frustrates me. Jurian is talented and poised. I could never be good enough for her. You'll never win a woman's heart if you don't compliment her looks as well, Garland. Well, she's pretty too. Beautiful, and then there's me. Aren't they both knights? Haven't they been training together for a long time? Just say something to her. Coward. All you ever do is talk about her. Even Karma says that your concentration is lacking because she's always on your mind. So just tell her. If she does not like you back, then that's it. If she does not like me back. Confessions are hard, princess. Very tedious. You're only saying that because you're dramatic about everything. The very nature of love is dramatic, darling. But enough idle chatter, sir. Let's continue our training. I end up staying longer than I intended. By the time I consider returning to the cavern, Garland and Karma are wrapping up for the night. I have a question for Karma, so I wait until Garland leaves before I approach him. You're still here, princess? Were you seeking out alone time with me by chance? I have enough of that of you every day when we run errands. I just have a question for you. You always come to the right person. What can I do for you, princess? You ask Garland the same question every time you train, and he always tells you he cannot confess. Karma nods in acknowledgement, but his intention is on his sword. He inspects it carefully before sheathing it. It frustrates me. You're frustrated? The look of his always annoys me. Oh my. It is annoying. Did you want me to ask why he won't confess because you're so frustrated? Yes. I suppose after almost 2 months, I do know you a little bit better. You don't know anything about me. 2 months? My god, she's really slow with getting this curse gone, isn't she? And I do not know anything about Karma either. Confessing isn't easy, dear Roxanne. Surely you must realize that there's a possibility of rejection is a significant deterrent. But if you never ask, you never get the answer, and the stress of worrying stays with you and ruins everything. Why are you staring at me? Is that the reason why you're so blunt, princess? Blunt? You're far more blunt than I. Princess Roxanne, you sure are amusing. You're as sharp as a knight's blade. I am not amusing. That's a matter of opinion, darling. He really is insufferable. And yet, I still come to him for advice. The scariest part of confession is the possibility of rejection. Can you imagine someone loving someone and then finding out they don't feel the same way about you? My thoughts shift to the king. My chest tightens. Princess Roxanne, Karma reaches out a hand to brush a strand of hair out of my face. I slap it away without realizing. He pulls back his hand with a gentle sigh. My apologies. No, I cannot imagine. No? Loving someone and finding they do not feel the same way. I always knew that father never loved me. My understanding is different from what Karma is referring to. Besides, I no longer hold any love in my heart for the king. I have already given hope on him. This better be true. I'm not going back to him for some half-assed possibility of, oh, he always loved you. He was just awkward to show it. Right? It's a good thing that you haven't experienced the rejected love, princess. It's the worst feelings. Karma asked to be alone, so I returned to the cavern myself that night. I do not know why I agree to this when nothing changes. Today, I'm once again in the town with Karma, running errands. Since we've been partners, he insists that I've been coming with him. He insists on me coming with him every day. Why do you need a new dress? Because a lady needs all kinds of dresses in her closet. Variety is key when you want to make a good impression. Why would you want to make a good impression on people in a disguise? A disguise is meant to conceal you. It does not exist to be flaunted. Oh no, darling. I only wear the disguise to stop the curse from working on people. It's not really meant to conceal anything, but the fact that I am a man. Being doted on by a married woman, or a woman in love with another man, is so especially troubling. Is the curse really that powerful? Karma leads me over to the dress store and our conversation pauses when he goes to the store owner to give him specifications for a new dress. When we leave, Karma suggests going to some place to reward me for all my hard work. You're treating me? Hell yeah. Free food. Why wouldn't I, darling? You've been helping me for a while now. What is this feeling? Gratitude? Disgusting. Karma does owe me for everything that I've done to him, so why do I feel like this? You know, it'd be much easier for you to just help me carry bags. Oh, there, let me buy one of those cupcakes. So the reason he doesn't carry the bags is because he's a lady, and ladies shouldn't carry things, but I'm there to carry it for him? Double standards. Karma cuts through my suggestion easily. Does he really dislike work so much that he'd rather pay me off for helping him? Karma takes me to a stand showcasing all kinds of cupcakes. They're the same, some colored frostings, other with fancy decorations. Some are especially eye-catching, like a bright blue cupcake decorated with little stars. Anything catch your fancy, ladies? All of them, actually. Alas, I do not think eating them would be all good for my diet. What do you think, princess? We'll share one. I turn back to the cupcakes, which I realize are big enough to share between two people. Am I choosing one for myself or the one Karma would like? I guess he is treating me, but 2 cupcakes catch my eye. One has a little creature sitting on top of the frosting. It reminds me of a little lizard of sorts. Though it's strange, the color reminds me of Karma's dress. The other cupcake is decorated with little white chocolate pearls. Those pearls are small and somehow cute, but Karma might like the other cupcake? I don't know how... But he is treating me. Do I want to get on his good side? Or what was the other one? Those pearls are small and cute. To be honest, if it's my reward, I will take the cupcake I want. I'll have that one. Princess, I didn't know you like cute things. That's precious, darling. I hope he doesn't tease me about this later. Let's go enjoy this somewhere else, shall we? Karma leads me to the middle of a plaza, and the two of us find a table. He walks off to get a fork and knife, but before returning and handing it up, and said to me, "Do we really need a knife and fork to eat a cupcake?" So before you got your dress, you distracted me with cupcakes. We were talking about your curse. Were we? It is not an interesting topic. I was glad that we gotten off that tangent, to be honest. Why don't you want to talk about it? You have your secrets just as I do, princess. But the whole point of pairing up is to help each other with our curses. Princess, you want to help me? Only because it is necessary, and I help him so he can help me. I haven't made any progress in helping you, though. That's true, we've been here 2 months. You said you would provide me with opportunities. Wait, is being nice to him selecting the other cupcake? Because if so, I'm so fucked. I'm not very good at that, am I? I'm sorry, princess. Well, I do not think I've ever done anything for you either. But princess, you've been helping me for the past few weeks. Whether or not it is out of obligation, but you are still good company. Good company? No one has ever told me about that before. They only shied me being difficult to speak with. Karma starts cutting the cupcake. His knife slides through the frosting and cake with ease. I've never seen such refined manners from a simple dessert. What was your life like before the curse, princess? I have no need to tell you any of that. No, it's not necessary, but I am curious. Would I be doing a good deed if I'm telling him? I don't think so. How about we trade fact for fact? You give me a story and I'll give you one tomorrow. What makes you think I'm interested in your life? Well, you do keep asking about my curse. only because we were working on breaking our curses. Okay then, we don't have to talk about the past or any secrets. We can talk about this cupcake instead. What? Why does he always insist on changing the subject? Can we please just go back to the subject in hand? Yes, this cupcake. If you insist on sharing a story for a story, then I'll tell you something about me. Oh? You didn't seem the type to want to share. I normally do not see a reason for sharing things about my past, no. Mother once told me that to confide in someone else was a weakness. Well, more than that, I was always worried that others would judge me. No one has ever wanted to listen to me. I know about others' opinions of me to know that they think I'm at the one at fault. Always. What did she do? Like, what did she do in particular? I won't judge you, princess. I mean, I wouldn't judge you for not wanting to say anything to me. I divulged nothing to you after all. A story for a story. That's the deal, right? I expect you to keep it. Or rather, a fact for a fact. It's not like I have to tell him everything, just something about myself. I'll tell you about my life at the palace. It's a secret, though I doubt Karma would understand. Ever since Mother died, the palace has been a cold place. Why so surprised? Is it because you see Emmeline and Rod and assume we're all one big happy family? I do have to admit that Princess Emmeline seems quite gentle. Prince Rod is quiet, but he does seem like an honorable man. When I saw you and the princess at the dress store, Princess Emmeline seemed very nice, is she not? Her kindness is fragile at best. She tries far too hard for it to be genuine. Her insistence is irritating. I've never wanted to be friends with her. The king took a second wife after my mother died, as if she never mattered to him. Karma is silent and I continue to talk, my emotions loosening my tongue. I had meant to stop there, but the words keep coming. The only one who ever showed me any affection in that palace was Mother. The king never paid much attention to me in the first place, but he treats Rod and Emmeline far better than he ever treated me. What was your mother like? All of my fondest memories of her. She was always with me in the palace, teaching me right from wrong. Well, not really. She gaslit you, but she taught me not to show weakness, who to speak with. Who to speak with? Needless conversation is useless. People are often likely to lead you astray. That's the reason I never saw reason to speak with the townsfolk. Will you judge me, as everyone else does? No, princess, I'm not judging you. I'm just a little sad. Sad? Why would he be sad? It sounds like you lived an empty life. It was not an empty life. It sounds as if your mother separated you from everyone. It wasn't as if the townsfolk would have accepted me anyway. Mother said they were not to be trusted. Princess, about your mother. I will not hear you speak ill of Mother. No, I only had a question about your mother. Karma coughs and I pause to stare at him as he clears his throat. What is it? Oh gods! I hear the change immediately. His voice is lower, far lower, the soft gentleness gone. Karma puts his hand to his throat and grumbles. Karma's voice is teetering on the edge of sounding unmistakably male. I always wonder how he was able to change his voice, but I forgot to ask him about it. What happened to your voice? Oh, it's Miss Karma. I turn to see a young market girl approaching us. She looks at Karma adoringly. I always wanted to speak to you, Miss Karma, ever since you complimented my dress that one time at the dress store. Jesus Christ. Get a life, girl. Your dress is so lovely today, as always, Miss Karma. Karma? Miss Karma, are you okay? I am quite fine. I cannot help but giggle at the girl who take a step back, looking shocked from how deep Karma's now deep voice. Karma curses his deep voice, but before forcing into a bright smile on his face. Excuse me, I'm feeling under the weather. I notice that he's trying to change the pitch of his voice, but the highness is only annoying rather than soothing now. Oh, I'm sorry. Karma turns to me urgently, but I am too amused to offer any sort of assistance. What is it, Miss Karma? Karma's smile is forced, and his eyes are glaring at me. I laugh once again, not able to help myself. His expression softens, but only slightly. Attempt to leave it, Karma. Well, let me enjoy this moment a little bit. The whole time everyone was making fun of me for being rich but now poor and not knowing fairy tales, so I want to get some revenge back. He obviously wants to leave, but I cannot help myself. I really hope I don't get the bad ending. Miss Karma, I do wish you would say something. At the very least, you should thank this girl for her compliment. Oh no, it's quite alright. Come on, Karma, you're usually the most charming person on these streets. Thank you. He sounds like he's dying now. I cannot help but start laughing again. The smile of annoyance on Karma's face seemed to dissipate completely. Leaving. He takes my hand and curtsies politely to the girl as he pulls me away. Karma, you sound sick. It's run out. Run out. The potion that Parfait makes for me. I must have talked too much. You talk too much? Karma puts his finger on his lip as we stroll through town. He shakes his head, making it clear that he won't speak to me until later. When we return to the cavern, it's already dark. Karma pauses and turns to me and looks at me. What? You have a nice smile, Princess Roxanne. I'm glad I could make you laugh. Well, of course I laughed. You sounded ridiculous. It's worth sounding ridiculous just to see you smile. You and Rumple really are the same. The comment doesn't faze him. He smiles widely as he leaves for his room. I'm glad I could make you laugh. I cannot get these words out of my head, even though I'm supposed to be resting for the night. I think I should go see if Karma is practicing with Jurian or Garland. I leave my room and go downstairs to the reception room. Delora and Parfait let me go to the forest at night alone. Since they know I'm meeting up with Karma, Parfait is in the reception room tonight, reading a book. I was always told reading in the dark would be bad for your eyes. Oh, Princess, I didn't see you. I noticed as she closed the book and I can now read the cover. She is reading Cinderella. That's my fairy tale curse. The Great War has called the fairy tales, right? Yes, that's right. And yet you are reading one. The curses are based off these fairy tales after all. Why are you reading Cinderella? My curse isn't anything like that fairy tale. It's reversed. True, but the moral remains the same. In order to become Cinderella, you must be good like her. Cinderella had everything handed to her by a fairy godmother. I had everything taken away. Princess, have you truly had everything taken away from you? Compared to what I used to have, what I have now has been nothing. You have friendships and people who enjoy your company. No one in this tavern enjoys my company. Are you sure about that, Princess? I think you have a difficulty trusting that we all like you. Like me? Why would you like me? You've become family here. I haven't been here that long. It doesn't matter. Everyone here in Martian is family. Family? Are you saying everyone in the Martian is family? Princess, you're on my borders. You are more than a regular here. You live with us, so I said you're family. I speak more with the people here than I've ever spoken to my own family. In the palace, I was always alone. The only person I could speak to was Fritz. Are you going to watch Parma practice? I nod in response. Be safe, Princess. As I head to the door, I recall what happened earlier today. Parfait, what is this potion you make for Karma? You mean the potion I make change his voice? He begged me to help him when he first designed his disguise. Karma makes a beautiful woman, but he didn't think the illusion was complete without a convincing voice. You know how picky it is. Something else on your mind? Karma hides his curse, but you know what his conditions for breaking it, aren't you? Don't you? Parfait does not answer. Or are you also keeping it a secret? Princess, not everyone likes to talk about their curse. I think it'd be better if you ask Karma directly. I just don't understand why he won't tell me anything when I'm trying to help. Just as you think your good deeds are difficult, there are also something about Karma's curse that he can't come to terms with. I put my hand to my necklace around my neck. I still haven't performed any good deeds. Can I really do this? I'm going now. I walk out the front door and into the forest. I do not think about this, at least not until later. I decided not to think about this. I wish this was all simpler and that Karma's wasn't cloaked in so many secrets. Mother, I went to town today. I told you not to go into town. Did your father take you? He told me it'd be fun. And was it? No, everyone looked really angry at me, but I don't know why. Dad of the year, can't even control his subjects. I told you before, haven't I, dearest one? The townsfolk are just jealous of you. Jealous? They're bitter about their lot in life, and because of that, they will seek to use you for status. You cannot trust them, Roxanne. You cannot trust anyone but me. Trusting others will only lead you to heartbreak. You only need to trust me because I will never hurt you. Chapter 5, Favors and Payback? Favors. Favors. I haven't been at the Martian for a couple of months now. I have been, and I still haven't managed to do a single good deed. Today I went out of town with Waltz to buy ingredients for Farfet. The two of us has always been quiet, which is uncharacteristic for Waltz. Princess? What? Did Karma explain why he wasn't coming with you today? Princess? Does Waltz not like my company? Is that why he's asking if he had to fill in the role for Karma? He said he was tired. Oh. Waltz turned his head, his eyebrows furrowing in confusion. The town feels different today. It does. It feels as if there's people watching us. How can you tell? With practice, I have a lot of eyes on me when I'm doing my puppet shows after all. Even before then, I am used to being watched, I guess. Before you were cursed? Why? Well, I was more conspicuous as an adult, I guess. An adult, alright. You have Neverland's curse. You remembered. Yes, I have Neverland's curse. I told you what that was in the tavern once. You were stuck as a child when you should be a man. That's right, it's a little inconvenient, but I've gotten used to it. Walt is so much more straightforward about his curse than Karma. The two of us are going into a store where we find little cups that Parfait asked us to buy. After I pay, Walt automatically picks up the bags. His help is nice for a change. I've become so accustomed to carrying the bags on my own. So, have you made any progress on your good deeds? As you can see from my necklace, that I have not. But you have changed. I still don't see how I've changed at all. Karma hasn't taught me anything about being good. Sometimes in order to do good, you need to realize something about yourself first. Maybe Karma's not so bad with helping you with that. He's selfish, flamboyant, and acts like the whole world revolves around him. But you're still partnered with him. I am. I am okay with Karma's company. Most people would judge me and shun me. But Karma hasn't done that, and he's even mentioned enjoying my company. I have become more tolerant of him too. Oh, Princess. Walt's eyes light up as I see him pointing ahead to the crowd of people gathering in the center of the town. A woman stands in the middle of the crowd, telling people's fortunes. As we go, see if we should get our fortunes told. Come on. The crowd around the woman only grows larger until nearly half of the plaza is taken up. I find myself pushed around in the crowd and trying to follow Waltz. The crowd is dense though, and in no time I have lost him. Waltz. I call for him, but I do not see him over the dozen of people in front of me. I will wait for him at the outskirts of the crowd. He should be able to find me. I make my way of the crowd and the edges of the alleyway. But Waltz still does not appear. 10 minutes go by, and I consider walking back to the crowd when I hear a voice behind me. Are you looking for someone, madam? I feel someone grab my hand. I slap away and take a step back. When I turn, a man is standing me behind in the alleyway. I didn't mean to startle you. What do you want? I want to help you return to the palace, princess. You know who I am? I do, princess. I can lead you back to the palace. Who are you? Someone who's working for the king. But the king does not remember me. The only people who would remember me are witches, fairies, and those with a curse. So who exactly is this man? You're lying. Princess, why would I ever lie to you? Now come, I'm sure everyone in the palace would be very happy to see you. Now she knows he's lying. The man grasps my hand roughly and begins trying to pull me away through the alleyway. The first thing I do and try is scream, but the man clamps his free hand over my mouth. The crowd is getting further from us, and no one can see us in the shadows. Princess, I swear on my word I'm bringing you back to the palace. It would be smarter to wait for an opening, because I think he can straight up just block me, right? He will be expecting me to fight back. I have to hold my ground until there's an opening. What would Jurian and Garland do in this situation? Nice and obedient, yeah? Better that way. After all, I'm not a bad guy. The man walks me down the alleyway. He holds me tight. I'm forced to walk with him until we get to a dead end. Now where was the passageway he was talking about? Now's my chance. What is it I see before me? I look up to see Karma on the rooftop right above us in his disguise holding a sword, a broad grin on his face. Madam, you might hurt yourself playing with that sword. You might want to put it down. What is this, sir? Do you feel threatened by me? You should. Karma jumps from the building and raises his sword in front of his eyes. His eyes are angry, his jovial personality fallen away. Anyone that attacks that lady has to pay for his crime. Karma rushes forward, moving faster than I can see. Even in his long dress, the glint of the sword causes the man to fall backwards, loosening his grip on me. I step back from the man's hold and watch as Karma points his sword at the man's neck. Now, I have the sword and you do not. Do you really want to test your luck, sir? This isn't worth it. The man runs off, leaving with Karma in the alleyway. What is this? You're a lot cockier than you were a few moments ago. I breathe in and out slowly as relief washes over me. Princess. Waltz approaches me from where the man had run. So, did you meet that coward fellow on your way here? I bumped into a man who looked as if he was running from death. Oh my, I feel oddly accomplished. Karma and Walt's voices become faded and indistinct as my vision blurs. I'm suddenly light on my feet. All the adrenaline from earlier has dissipated into thin air. I feel tired. Princess. Before I collapse, I feel arms pulling me back up. Rest easy, princess. I close my eyes and fall back in the blackness. When I wake up, Annis is sitting at a tray of food down my bedside table. She does not notice as I rise slowly from bed. Annis. Oh, princess, you're up. We are worried about you. Lady Laura and Lady Parfait said you were just out because of shock, but still. How long have I been asleep? Just a few hours, princess. Don't worry about the chores for now. Lady Laura said that if you feel better, then you can use Mr. Broom. Just thinking about using Mr. Broom gives me a headache. Where's Karma and Waltz? Waltz is out scouting town looking for the man who captured you. And Karma? I think he might be in his room, princess. He got patrol tonight, so he might be resting a bit. If he has patrol tonight, that means he was resting the morning too. How did he know I needed help? Do you need anything, princess? No, I'm going to visit Karma. What? To thank him? However, he knew if Karma hadn't been there, things would not have ended so well. Yes. That's sweet, princess. Oh, Lady Laura wants to talk about what happened when you were feeling up to it. Okay. I wait until Annis leaves the room before I follow after her. It was only after I exit my room that I realized I do not know where Karma's room is. Annis must have assumed that I already knew us being partners and all. It's fine, I do not need Annis' assistance for this. I can find his room on my own. It takes me some time, but eventually I find the room with his name on the door carefully, flowery letters. It suits him. I simply open the door without thinking to knock. Bruh. I expected to find Karma lying in bed, but instead he's standing in front of a mirror changing his clothes. Princess? Oh, I do not think I've ever seen a shirtless man before. Oh, indeed. He turns to me, and the realization that he's just standing there in his pants hit me hard in the stomach. My face feels incredibly, uncomfortably warm. Are you just standing there? Put on your clothes. And then I notice there's a large tattoo on his chest. It's a rose ensnared by very vines. I stare at it for a few moments before Karma puts his hand over to conceal it. It's rude to come into a lady's room unannounced, you know? Karma slips his usual dress carefully over his head and then approaches me. I take a step back without realizing Karma raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me mischievously. It's a familiar look, but it rattles me more than now than ever before. Aw, my princess, you're red as a tomato. Are you okay? Does this man always need to point out the obvious? I am fine. There's no need to shout, darling. Now, what did you come here for? To see me, the beautiful Karma? Does everything have to revolve around you? Well, you are breaking into my room. I am barely able to stifle a sigh. Well? I cross my arms and frown at him. His smile makes it harder to get my next words out. I came here to thank you. Do my ears deceive me? What did you say, princess? Princess? Thank you for saving me. You're quite welcome, princess. It was my pleasure. I should leave. Wait, what? I turn to leave, but Karma grabs my hand and pulls me back. But princess, don't you owe me something? So Karma was expecting something in return after all. I should have known. I think you owe me an apology. You did come into my room unannounced after all. What is he talking about? Since you broke into my room, I demand you help me with my makeup. Then I will forget your transgression. Your makeup? Yes, darling. I thought you were resting before your good patrol tonight. Resting? Nonsense. I have much to do. My makeup earlier was so messy that I washed my face in order to reapply it. I cannot believe I'm going to agree with this. Fine. Ah, what a splendid day today is. Come on, princess. Let's do this by a mirror. Karma pulls me over to the mirror, where we can see both their faces reflected. He has the most surprising variety of makeup on the dressers beside him. I do not care that much for my appearance. Why am I helping Karma with his makeup? Now, which feature on the face do you think is the most important one to highlight, princess? What? What are your eyes attracted to most on a person's face? When they're laughing, when they smile? Is he asking for my opinion on something so trivial? If someone was smiling, the first feature I would look at their face would be... Well, does he want to say lips because it's smiling? But I think it's the eyes because you can kind of see if they're actually smiling. Ooh, I don't know if this is a trick question. If someone was smiling, the first feature... the lips, I guess, if it's the default, right? Despite myself, I find myself dropping to Karma's lips. Why do I feel like I'm walking into a trap? The lips? Why, princess, I didn't think I'd ever hear you say that when you looked at my lips when I smiled. I did not say that. Oh, but you did, and princess, I do believe you are blushing. Even though Karma never said he was referring to his features, I thought about his lips anyways. The thought of the idea made my heart flop, though I do not have the faintest idea why. Anyway, I agree. Though eyes are the most important, a smile quite... I knew it! I knew it was the fucking eyes! Motherfucker! Without the lips. Oh, shit. Without the lips? I try to imagine a smile without the lips and shudder. Sorry, princess, I misspoke. Try to dispel that image from your mind. Anyway, I'll let you choose the things in order. Just don't make me look like a clown, princess. I know how much you like to tease me, but I need to get out of here quickly today. If you need to leave quickly, shouldn't you do your makeup yourself? And miss the opportunity to have you help me? Nonsense. If I can, I'll have you help me with my hair some other time. The way you do yours is beautiful. I always put effort in my hair as mother emphasized the importance of looking like a princess. But I've never received a compliment from my hairstyle before. Karma gives me his makeup supplies and layering the color of his face. When we are close, I do not help but to think and carefully inspect every other of his features. I do not think I ever did something like this, even with mother. You know, princess, I don't think I deserve your thanks. I pause and raise an eyebrow at him. What? You've been helping me for a while, but I haven't helped you with your curse at all. What I did today was just a coincidence. Coincidence? I heard you went to town with Waltz, and I followed you too. I only happened to catch what happened in the alleyway. You managed to see me, even when there were so many other people who didn't. I have good eyes, probably. Probably. It's not like you to be so humble. Roxanne, I am once again offended. And why were you following us in the first place? You said you were just too tired to go into town today. I was worried? It was strange not to accompany you today. Worried? What would you be worried about? Karma looks puzzled for a few moments. He glanced at himself in the mirror solemnly and then shrugs. Intuition, perhaps. Waltz mentioned something about feeling watched. Is that something that Waltz and Karma are watching out for that I am not? Karma closes his eyes momentarily, and I take the opportunity to dust his eyes with the eyeshadow. He does not seem to mind. Princess, you haven't spoken about what happened today with Delora and Parfait, have you? No, not yet. You came to thank me first? Yes. Oh. Karma falls into silence, and I continue to work, sweeping blush around his high cheekbones. Princess, do you know anything about the man who tried to drag you away today? No, he only said he worked for the king before telling me that he would take me back to the palace. I wonder how he recognized you. I was wondering that myself. How curious and alarming. The only ones who should pose a problem at this time are witches. Witches? What would they want to do with me? Well, I mean that witches are the only one who could see through our curses. So that man spoke with a witch? It's possible, but why? Why would witches want me back at the palace? Or was that man trying to lead me somewhere else? I suppose either way the man couldn't have wanted to bring me back to the palace for a good reason. Is it possible that a witch gave a commoner a description of you? But then why would... Karma stops talking and looks up to me. Something like sympathy. Sorry, I'm just running heads for ideas. Are witches really so dangerous? And what did they want to do with me in the first place? Rest assured, Princess. We will figure it out. I nod my head, and I have a lot of questions about Delora and Parfait, but it's not possible that they might know everything. I will need to think of some of my own, in case they decide to keep more of their secrets. I look at Carmen and shake my head. This time, I'll be more wary. I won't let myself be caught unaware. Before I realize this, Karma has his hand on my cheek and is staring at me solemnly. His eyes are cold and unmoving as steel. Princess, there won't be a next time. That's what I said. Next time, I'll make sure that you're definitely not alone. Had I been alone today, I might have just been kidnapped. I know that, but I cannot show weakness. I just need to be more cautious. I'm not some damsel in distress, you know. Having someone in your back is far more comforting. Even on the battlefield, knights can fight better together. What's wrong? Nothing. He moves his hand away from my face, standing up, sighing. His eyes suddenly look distant and posture is stiff. I think we're about done here, right? I haven't finished your makeup, though. Wait, why am I concerned about that? Sometimes simple is better. Or would you like me to sit back down? I do enjoy being pampered by you, Princess. I take it back. We are definitely done. Good. Thank you for your hard work. In an instant, the mood changes, and a bright smile once again graces Karma's face. As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to leave you, darling. I have business in town, and then patrol later tonight. I probably won't see you for the rest of the day, but... Thank you. Is he thanking me for putting on his makeup? It was such a small thing. You're welcome. You've already thanked me, though. Well, now you can tell I'm twice as thankful as a normal person. That doesn't make any sense, but it's Karma. A lot of things he does not make any sense. I leave the room with Karma, and he leaves the tavern as I go find Parfait and Delora. The two of them are seated together in the reception, speaking in hushed voices as I arrive. They both pause to look up at me as I walk into the room. Well, isn't it? Well, if it isn't the princess, what took you so long enough to come see us? Anne has told us you're unharmed. We are glad to see you safe, Princess. So about telling us what happened? When prompted, I tell them exactly what transpired in the hallway. The two listen, and only exchange a solemn glance when I'm done. Do you know something about this in the first place that I don't? Why would the witches be after me in the first place? You remember what we said about the rum corrupting witches? Well, those witches don't like seeing curses broken. They meddle where they can because they can. This is why I cast a glamour on you when you arrived, so you would remain hidden from magical eyes. I did it to protect you. To protect me? I feel like there's more to this that they are hiding, but I do not think of any amount of convincing to get them to say anything. Forgive us, Princess. We're not entirely sure what's going on either. Though, if it was a human that captured you, he must be working with the witches somehow. Troublesome, to say the least. But we do not know the details yet. Give us some time to figure things out. Until we figure out who the man is and who he is working for, you need to have an escort with you out of the Martian at all times. Do you understand? And once you figure it out, you will tell me? The two exchange looks, which only makes me more frustrated. They are obviously keeping secrets and right in front of me. We'll tell you everything once everything falls into place. Don't worry, princess. We will never let you be in any danger. The silence is what ends the conversation. I make my way back to my room, feet heavy. I feel like a fly caught in a spider's web. I try my best to clear my mind as I return to my room. The days go by slowly, and I make no progress with my curse. Karma is busy with the knights today, and Delora and Parfait are taking time with Rumpel to talk about his curse in his room. Tonight is a perfect night to go and wander town by myself. I need to see if I can get anything out of the witches and what is happening in the kingdom. Delora and Parfait are not going to tell me anything, and no one has wanted to take me out of the Martians in the kidnapping attempt. Though these thoughts spiral helplessly in my mind as I sit at the table, I have finished working for the day, and the activity in the Martian is beginning to wind down. Garland stands at the door as the last few customers leave the Martian. Jurian is walking around the room to make sure there is no problems. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice two men pause halfway across the room to glance back at her. I can overhear their words from where I am. Shame she's a knight, eh? She's a proud type too, too proud to let a man dope on her. Bleeding shame indeed. Do you think if I try to say something to her? You too. Garland is suddenly standing behind those two men, an unconsciously dark glare on his face. Is there a problem? Doors are closing for the night. I'm gonna ask you to leave. No need to be uptight, lad. We're on our way out now. The two men walk out, and Garland stands in the middle of the tavern, glaring at them. He has more or less pushed them out of the tavern. If Annis have seen that, she'd probably have scolded him. Garland? You okay? Of course. You think you can fool me? I've known you long enough to know what something's bothering you. Neither of the knights have noticed me here, but if they do, they ignore me. Jurian is still looking instantly at Garland, who is looking at the floor. Is he going to say something to her? Garland says nothing, though. He looks as lost for words. Finally, Jurian reaches out and pokes his shoulder. He looks up, startled. Still, the same as always. The silent, watchful knight. Only says things with certainty when he knows they're the truth. Even the princess is waiting for you to say something. Both knights look to turn at me. Garland is surprised. I raise an eyebrow at him, and he hurriedly looks away. Patrol is starting soon. I'll head out, so. Okay, stay safe. Garland nods with her little smile before he leaves the tavern. Going to sleep so soon, princess? I was just going to head up. I stand up and get ready to move up to my room, but stop one more time to look at Jurian. Did you hear what those men were saying? Oh, about me being proved proud or something? So she did hear them, but chose not to say anything. It doesn't bother me. They're right. I've been independent for a long time, and I would never think about pledging my safety to a man I barely know. I can take care of myself. Blunt and to the point, Jurian was really admired for that honesty in the palace. The only other men I've trusted are my fellow knights, Garland most of all, since we've always been partners. She does not explain further, and I decide that's for the better. The sooner everyone has cleared out, the sooner I can leave the Martian. Tonight is the night I'm looking to go for answers. Sorry, Karma, but I can handle myself. I'm going to prove it tonight. I may not be able to fight, but I can still be cautious enough not to land myself in trouble. Still, I do not happen to hear much of anything as I'm exploring the town tonight. I should have brought a knife. I should have brought something. Oh my god, what? I should have brought something along, some kind of weapon, but then I would have to steal a knife from the kitchen, and I'm not a thief. Hours pass before I pass a tavern full of knights. Deciding that I will at least listen to what is happening at the palace, I linger in the door and listening what the men are saying. I hear that the young Fritz is having a hard time of it. I feel bad for the lad. Even Sir Alistair thinks he's gone mad. Well, he does keep talking about the princess that doesn't exist. Fritz still remembers me? But how? Even his father is growing wary of his babbling. Sir Mythos forced him on break the other day. They didn't seem happy. Well, Mythos must think he's crazy too. Poor Fritz. Can you keep a secret? The knights look at each other and I lean as close as possible as I can. Apparently, the boy spoke some truth. Though Sir Alistair doesn't quite believe it, he's looking for his daughter of the previous queen. Eh? The witch had a daughter? The previous queen? Is he talking about the mother? How dare they call her a witch? Apparently she did, though I don't even remember such a girl. This is top secret stuff. I just happened to wrestle this one out of the lackeys looking for her. Why would Sir Alistair need this girl for? I'm assuming she's dangerous, and they want to get rid of her. Are they talking about me? I'm curious. How are we supposed to find this imaginary girl anyway? Does she have any features? They described her features. Last man who went looking for her said she wore a special pendant around her neck. I should get out of here. I turn to leave the cavern, but my cloak snags in the door and fall on the door, tripping me in the process. I end up falling halfway into the tavern, which the chattering abruptly stops. Bro. This is... oh, a lady. The knight that we're talking about me approaches. One of them picks up my cloak. I attempt to grab my cloak from their fingers, but they pull it away from me, and I stumble into one of them. Madam. He moves to take my hand, and he stops when he sees my face. Her face! And a necklace! You think she was spying on us? Witch! One of the knights grabbed me by the wrist and pulls me towards him. He's far stronger than the man in the alleyway was. Unhand me right now. I am no witch. Then there should be no problem. We're just gonna take you in, and if there's some big understanding, we can repay you ourselves, miss. No, let me go. This behavior is not fitting for a knight. Come now, miss. Let's go back quietly. Honestly, I don't think I'll be able to convince them, because they won't believe me, so I think it's better to fight them and make some noise. I may be outnumbered, but I cannot let myself be caught. Maybe the people at the bar will help me. I don't know about that either. I open my mouth to scream, but one knight covers my mouth as some attention falls on us. Nothing to fear, everyone, just criminal we've apprehended. I struggle in their grasp, but these men are too strong for me. Don't fight back, man. Resistance is useless. Everyone in the bar looks scared of me. This is even worse than everyone glaring at me. I try to blink back the tears coming into my eyes. Come on, let's take her to the palace. Oh, I'm so fucked. The knights lead me out onto the empty streets. Why? Why did I have to be so stubborn? The knights continue pulling me to the path until we come to a narrow street. Everyone who sees us walk away to avoid the knights. There is a fear in their eyes. But I have done nothing wrong. Ma'am, if you makes it feel any better, we're risking our rank on this as well, ma'am. I don't know. I'm suspicious of. Who goes there? I look up and notice Karma's familiar figure walking towards us. What is he doing there? Why isn't he in his disguise? Gentlemen, I ask you to unhand the woman. As a knight, I would be ashamed to see you treating a lady so terribly. And who are you? Her husband. Is what? Unhand her, gentlemen, or taste my blade. Sir, we're just taking her to the palace. I'll give you the count of 3. One knight keeps his grip on me and the other one draws his sword. I stare at Karma, who continues to count. Did the knight attack him before the sword leaves his sheath? Karma and the knight trade blows. But it is Karma that comes victorious. His blade slides past the knight's shoulder, distracting him enough to give Karma the opening he needs. Karma reaches back with his hand free to knock the knight out with a blow on the head. It may be my imagination, but for a few moments I think I see the knight's blade glimmer across the surface of Karma's hand before he falls. The knight is holding up his hand and surrendering. I yield. It seems no matter how the situation is, turns out you are dishonorable. Please, sir. Loser. Karma knocks him out and stands beside him as he sheaths his sword. Karma, a few moments. Karma spent some time forcing a potion down the vial of each guard's throat. I watched him quietly, fearing that he might have killed them, but the knights only seemed to be asleep. It's a potion that Parfait gave me. It'll make the men forget that they ever saw you. When Karma stands, I notice the glimmer of blood on his hand and stare. You're hurt. It's nothing. I'm sorry. Come on, let's go back. He pulls me out of the main street and does not let go of my hand. I cannot bring myself to speak. Karma has saved me twice now. Not only that, but this time he was injured, and he says nothing, but only his bloodied hand does not move at all. Why do I have to be so stubborn and insist I can handle myself? I do not speak for a long time. Eventually, people do start to notice and stare. Though before long, the staring grows worse. Young women begin to follow us, giggling from behind. I turn to Karma, who looks like he hasn't slept in days. Karma. Sorry, princess, but I'm in no mood to talk. Those girls walking right beside us, this is his curse? Karma. Princess, I said I'm in no mood to talk. Did you not hear me? We are being followed. He stares behind us, almost stupidly, and then laughs hollowly when the girls see his face. They start to rush us, their voices rising and blending together into a horrendous cacophony. Karma is not moving, though. He looked resigned. Maybe he is too tired to realize what's going on. I tighten my grip on Karma's hand and pull him away, my pace quickening to run as the girls chase after us, screaming at me angrily for taking Karma away from them. Roxanne, what are you doing? Getting us out of here. Roxanne. I lead him through the town into little nooks and crannies where we manage to lose some of the crowd. Karma have often led me through these spaces on shortcuts. Waltz knew them too. We're alone again and I fall to my knees and letting go of Karma's hand, I catch my breath. That really was a curse, having to run away with so many mindless women. That was difficult. Roxanne? What? I did not mean to snap, but the tiredness is pressing on me too. You really helped me out there. Of course I did. Why would I want you to be chased by girls? You could have left me behind and gone alone. Instead, you helped me. You helped me too. I guess I paid you back. Though, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about repaying him for saving me. I just knew that I didn't want Karma to be stuck to fend with all of those girls. He was right about his curse. That is terrible. I just realized something. Karma kneels down beside me and waits for me to speak. My curse has people forget me, and yours have made strangers even become fascinated with you. It's almost like our curses are the opposite of each other, and yet we seem so similar. My eyes widen when I realize what I just said. We are similar, aren't we? He holds out his good hand to me, and I let him lead me back to the tavern through the abandoned alleyways. My feet are heavy and all I want to do is sleep, but suddenly Karma is standing before me, his face grave. Roxanne, I have to thank you for helping me earlier. I'm sorry I froze you like that, and it made it more difficult on you. It was so sudden and I was so tired and I had no motivation to move. Shouldn't I be thanking you? I'll accept your thanks, even though I wish you didn't have to thank me in the first place. You shouldn't have gone out on your own when you knew how dangerous it could be for you. I'm sorry. I accept your apology too, because I lost sleep over this. I have no words for how I feel right now. Princess. Karma reaches for my hand again, and this time he holds it up and kisses the back of it. Suddenly all my tiredness falls away. You really are a handful. And a delightful handful. I'm going to bandage this hand and then rest. We'll speak about all of this later, okay? But the blood. The bleeding has stopped on its own, Roxanne. But it does not need to be treated. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Are you sure? As sure as I can be. I don't lie, not even the sake of a pretty lady. Karma lets go of my hand, and as soon as we enter the Martian, and then bows politely to me before heading back to his room. I watch him go, my mind whirling. Does he usually kiss women's hands? No, I don't think so. Matchmaking. You really are a handful, but it's a delightful handful. His words keep repeating in my head. I cannot stop hearing his voice and feeling his lips on my hand. My face feels warm, and every time I think about the words, my heartbeat feels unsteady. I really do have to stop thinking about that. Karma is karma, and he puts on that overly politely act with everyone. But then again, I'm pretty sure I've never seen him do something like that with another person. I'll just go downstairs and stop thinking about all of this. I need to tell Parfait and Delora what happened, and because of that, I've returned to the margin yesterday. I've never spoke to anyone about what happened. Maybe someone's downstairs. Someone's usually is. I leave my loom and make my way downstairs to the reception. It's quiet when I enter, but not as silent as I thought it would be. Karma is sitting on one of the tables, speaking quietly with Parfait and Delora. His injured hand is sitting on the table, bandaged. I cannot help but to stare at it. My heart was plummeting. His injury is my fault. So you have yet to hear the entire story? No, I'm afraid I'm not privy to the information Watts has. Is that correct? Watts has been directly involved in this far longer than you have. What about Waltz? Princess, you're up early. They all turn to look at me as I stand at the table. Karma looks tired and is not in his dress, but he looks somber, but he still smiles at me. Roxanne, how nice of you to join us. When did he start saying my name without my title? Roxanne, you've run into a lot of different mishaps this week, haven't you? I thought you'd be stubbornly avoiding work, and say you got out of your way to get yourself in trouble. This involves me directly. How would I not be curious? You've also been irresponsible, sneaking out without any of us knowing. I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I even wore a cloak too. Oh no, the cloak. I left it at the bar. I feel a nudge at my arm, and Karma is holding my cloak with a tired smile. You went back to get this? When? Yesterday, when you were still in bed. You've been running yourself dry these days, Karma. It's nothing. Thank you. Oh, what's this? Our ice princess is thanking someone? Why is that something so strange? I do something good, you make fun of me. I do something bad, you give me shit. Oh my god. Now come on, she's not so icy. Roxanne is more fire than anything. She's brilliant with unbridled passion and confidence. Confidence that has gotten me nowhere so far. Don't look so dour, Roxanne, you've become quite the accomplished woman. Karma gestures towards me as I flush, unsure what to do when he's talking about. Then I notice Delora's eyes are on me too. Oh, Parfait, do you see that? What are they looking at? I reach down to grab my necklace and pause. I cannot stop the grasp that leaves my lips. When did this happen? Princess, you didn't realize that there was an extra piece in your necklace? Congratulations, Princess Roxanne. You're one step closer to breaking your curse. I feel proud. I've only felt this way around Mother. She did great favor for me yesterday. If not for Roxanne, I might have been suffocated beneath a pile of very excited women. Wait, helping Karma escape was a good deed? She was selfless. He's not even mentioning the injury he got protecting me. Parfait and Delora were smiling, but the cheerful moods did not last long. What were you all talking about before I came down? About your kidnapping. Well, kidnappings, both of them. It looks like we have a serious problem on our hands. What do you know about this? What does Walt know that I don't? Princess, it's more about what everyone else knows, and that you don't. What everyone else knows? I feel anger begin to simmer inside me. Even though he looks apologetic, he says it so casually. What are you all hiding from me? Let's gather everyone later, shall we? I think Waltz might want to be here for it too. What does Waltz want to do anything to do with it? Be patient, Princess. You've already waited this long. What's another few hours? Let me guess, everyone else knows I'm a witch but me. Wow, the dad was such a shitty dude. I have no choice but to agree when Parfait and Delora refuse to say anything more, but I am not happy about it. I spent the rest of the time doing idle chores around the tavern. I do a round of sweeping with Mr. Broom and mindlessly organize some bottles. I cannot believe everyone knows something about me that I don't. But now, I'll find out the entire story. Maybe it has the answer to some of the questions I have. Or are they keeping things from me from a secret? Delora gathers everyone in the tavern and discusses the kidnappings. I decide to sit between Waltz and Karma. So we have a story to tell. Story time. I suppose this wouldn't be a romance, would it? How can you stand to make these comments like this so constantly? How can you stand to live a lie? The two glare at each other from across the table, but Delora silences them. Delora starts with a story about the Great War, one that I've already heard so many times that I can recite it by myself. What does this have anything to do with me? Because of fairy tales, which is like myself, are punished for simply existing. Our leader, the rum bearer, was some kind of witch that was overtaken by grief that our people suffered. She was driven so far into madness that she created a fairy tale curse to punish humans and make them suffer as witches had. And then when that wasn't enough, she committed the ultimate taboo. She killed a human. So humans can mass genocide witches, but the moment a witch kills a human, it's a taboo. Okay. You do you, girl. I tried to stop her, but by the time I thought to act, it was already too late. Knowing that Delora Parfait was involved in the Great War makes it seem more real. It wasn't that the rum bearer was killed. How can a fairy tale curse continue to spread if she didn't die? I do believe that the rum bearer sacrificed her last bit of life to continue powering the rum. All to ensure that the remaining witches could continue to spread the fairy tale curse. Is none of this ringing a bell for you? What are you talking about? She really did erase your memories. Erase? The witch who died, the rum bearer, was your mother, Princess Roxanne. What? For some reason, I turned to look at Karma, who is one of the people who do not look away from me. I grew up on the outside of the kingdom, but even I know how of the terrible witch Hildur. You expect me to believe any of this? She wasn't a witch. I would remember that. Well, you would have your memories of the war, and the years before that. Until Hildur rules, the palace was a dark place. The king didn't have any real power until Hildur was defeated. That goes for the rest of us too. We were slaves to Hildur. Delora's eyes flickered to Waltz. It's the truth. Waltz knows because he's also a witch. He's experienced Hildur's command over the witches firsthand as well. Waltz is a witch? Sorry for keeping it a secret princess. It's not if I can use much magic anymore anyway, not when I'm cursed. There's just another secret. Of many. It seems like everyone's hiding something. Everyone was freed after Hildur's reign. Witches, fairies, and humans all alike. The king was even able to marry Ophelia, the woman he was always truly loved. So, it was always been Ophelia that he truly loved. Was that the reason I never felt any love for him? Because I was my mother's daughter? He gave up on me. Oh no, dear. I don't think he gave up on me. My voice is too loud in the reception area. I feel like it cracked beneath the pressure, and suddenly I want to cry. My mother told me so many times not to cry. The king gave up on me. My mother didn't. Mother would tell me this was a lie. She would tell me not to trust anyone. They must be lying. I did the karma. For some reason, I trust him more than I trust Delora Parfait. Is this the truth? I was told the story of Hildur and her daughter, Roxanne. They said the pictures were elegance, but that you shared your mother's icy nature. But I don't think that's true at all. If Hildur was ice, then you were most certainly warm fire. If my mother was a witch then, what does that make me? You're a witch as well, whether or not you were ever taught to use magic. On your upcoming birthday, you will become the rum bearer. Do you realize how ridiculous this all sounds? Me, a witch? The king never said anything. And now I cannot even ask him if this is the truth because I'm cursed. Why would you even curse me? Because we didn't want a repeat of the tragedy, Roxanne. I sat on the shelves for you for almost a year. There was ice in your heart, and if you have truly inherited the rum in the state, who knew what would have happened? Then why didn't you just tell me any of this? Delora and Parfait looks at each other before dropping their gazes to the ground. If he had told you this before, would you have bothered to listen? The king must have tried to do the same, and look at how it turned out. You should have everyone who tried to tell you about Hildur's true nature. That was probably true. Even now, I'm having trouble believing that they're telling me the truth. The whole world seems as if it's collapsing around me. I need to escape. I need to be somewhere else but here. Why are the witches looking for me? You are the heir to the rum. No doubt the evil witches want you on their side so they can continue wrapping havoc in Angel and the fairy tale curse. The men that were looking for Roxanne were not witches though. They were knights. Perhaps the witches and knights are working together. This must be part of Alisker's scheme to steal this throne. What are you talking about? The reason why Garland and I left the Order of Caldera was because the king did not believe in us about the Alcaster scoop. Well, how would he know about the prince's identity, though? Anyone who isn't a witch, a fairy, or isn't cursed should be able to remember her. Okay, so if you straight up told the king that someone who knew everything about the country is throwing a coup against you, and all he did was throw you out, it's kind of like survival of the fittest. Maybe he doesn't belong to be king. I'm just saying. Seems a little incompetent. But now that we know that it's not just the witches looking for the princess, but also the Knights of Order of Caldera as well. They definitely have the description of her from someone. Roxanne. Karma reaches out a hand to touch my shoulder, and I flinch back before standing up. I cannot speak about this now. I want to be alone. Friend, let her go. She needs some time to think. I leave everyone sitting at the table as I try to process the whirling thoughts in my mind. Elder, my mother, the only person who I thought ever loved me, was the rum bearer, a witch, the first witch to kill a human. The witch that has started the fairy tale curse. All this time, I thought mother was the only one who cared, but what if she never did? I stayed in my room for a long time, trying to process everything I had been told. My question is, so did I kill anyone, or was I ever in the war? Did I do anything? Days go by before I decided to leave the tavern again to watch Karma practice with the knights. These last few days I felt hollow. Maybe seeing the normal practices will help me feel better. Maybe it will make me feel like nothing's changed. When I arrive at the forest, only Karma is standing there in the clearing. He is staring at the trees almost if something's theirs, but his expression is solemn, almost sad. Eventually he sighs, shaking his head before turning to my direction. Roxanne! I prepare myself for the response, but no words come to mind. I have not spoken to Karma ever since we talked about our mother and the witches, and any of the ease that I felt before him has slipped away. Still, I came here on my own, and I cannot just stand being mute. I say the first thing that comes into mind. Where's Julian and Garland? I only trained with Garland, and Julian is on patrol duty tonight. He'll be here later. I just came early. It seems you did too. Roxanne, are you okay? I'm sorry I haven't been able to see you. It's not if you owe me that. I don't owe you, but I've truly wanted to. I've been busy here these few days scouting the town for information. As much as I want to come with you. What? As much... Oh. My tongue is twisting. As much as I want you to come with me. Why would you ever want to pair up with someone like me anyway? Why, princess? That's because I'm bitter and cold, and even though I want to change, all I can think about is myself. But now, I want to change because I do not want to be the same as my mother. Is that selfish? Maybe so, but I believe you are being selfish for the right reasons. An entirely selfless person can't survive in this world. But before we can make others happy, we have to be happy ourselves. Happy ourselves? Yes, an angry person holds resentment towards everyone, but it's mars whatever good deeds they seek to do. That is why I cannot complete my good deeds. Wrong, you already got one done. Recognizing the need to change is always a good thing, Roxanne. Regardless of the motivation, you are trying to become a better person. That is what matters. He takes a step down towards me, and then he puts my hand on his shoulders and leans down until I can look into his eyes. Karma's serious expression startles me as much as his touch. It's never too late for anyone to change. You taught me that. What? How could I possibly have taught Karma anything? Do you mind if I tell you a story, Roxanne? He's standing too close. Sure. Whatever. His face is closed and all I can do is stare into his eyes. Karma's tighten on my shoulders. In a few minutes, I feel a slight panic rising in my chest. Then Karma steps away from me with a rough shake of his head. Karma? Next time I do that, Roxanne, feel free to push me away. What? It's better that way. What did he mean by that? You never answered. Will you listen to my story? Alright. Once upon a time in a far, far land, there lived a crown prince from a kingdom called Brugantia. Brugantia is one of the neighboring kingdoms, so it wasn't make-believe. His name was Claude Mathis something, but because his name was such a mouthful, he settled for the acronym as his name, at least around the place where it was acceptable. Claude. Karma? Prince Claude was a man who flaunted his beauty and talents to all he met. He often used his titles to get what he wanted. Prince Claude was a selfish man who felt entitled to everything that he had. He was vain and often left the castle unattended so he can avoid his responsibilities. And then one day, he chanced upon a beautiful maiden in town square. He led her around the whole day, being as charming as he possibly could be. And then at the end of the day, he asked the woman to be his lover. She agreed, but their time together did not last long. Only weeks later, Prince Claude threw her heart away as he throws away an object and broke the woman's heart. And she cursed him. The most beautiful maiden was a witch, but Prince Claude found out too late. The witch said that she would make his beauty, his vanity, a curse, to make even beauty a curse. Ashamed of being cursed, Prince Claude donned the disguise and left his kingdom behind. He had been gone for nearly a year now, and most probably assume he's dead. But in truth, the prince had come to Avile to seek a way to break his curse. He had heard of a young lady called Roxanne, who, on her 18th birthday, could dispel any curse. Arma? He looks so sad, I don't know how to comfort him. Claude? Karma Claude turns a sparkling red as he stares at me for a few moments and he does not speak. Then he bursts out laughing. I share him in shock, not understanding his reaction, but I feel myself be flushed. Isn't that your real name? No, darling, it is, but hearing you say my name, well, it sounds so much softer coming out of your lips. I quite rather like it. My cheeks are warm again. How is it that he's always able to make me feel this way? I'll call you by that name if it makes you so happy. Let's make it a secret between the two of us. I'm still Miss Karma here. Besides, I'd rather you kept that name for my ears only. It makes me feel more special that way. More special? At that moment, Garland shows up for practice and Claude politely excuses himself. I watch the two of them trade blows. Claude offers his other hand, but his blow still comes quickly even with his injury. The more Claude tells me, the more I realize he's like me, a noble curse for being selfish. How do I help break his curse? Why can't he tell me? As practice is drawing to a close, Claude and Garland the usual question. Have you confessed to Jurian yet? Garland only shakes his head in reply. The two men sheath their swords. Garland looks almost sad. He turns away to make his way back to the tavern. He likes her, yet he won't say anything. Why is that? It frustrates me so much. Garland, yes, princess. It frustrates you, but it's none of your business. This man's not gonna ever confess. This is just him. As much as I want to say something, Claude told me how hard confessing was. I cannot begin to understand what it could be like. Princess? Roxanne, don't be afraid to tell him what's on your mind. Maybe you should really tell her, Garland. Before Claude was adamant about Garland shouldn't confess to Jurian. What changed? If I mess this up... let me try looking at it through another lens. Imagine that Jurian is Roxanne. How do you think she would like to be confessed to? I frown at the two men, arms crossed. Excuse me? Well, you and Jurian are very similar. Both of you are very straightforward. Confess to the princess? My eyes move to Claude, but only fleetingly, before they are once again on Garland. You need to do something simple, Garland, something that would not rub her the wrong way. A maiden's heart is ever fragile, and each woman is different. Claude is wearing an amused smile on his face, but he's looking at me, not Garland. I feel my face flushed and have to look.